Hey everyone, it's Unapologetic, UK politics, news and stuff with a right of centre leaning viewpoint. So it's Sam doing a solo podcast for you tonight. We didn't have the fancy music for the intro because I'm not as technologically advanced. I'm still in the dark ages a little bit with all that jazz. So just me and my mumbling voice tonight. So what I'm going to be talking about is Boris and the infamous leg touch. So I don't know if you've seen, it's been on Twitter about a journalist who currently works for the Sunday Times has come forward and said that Boris at a dinner touched her, or squeezed her thigh is what she alleges happened. And number 10 obviously vehemently denying this and saying, there's no recollection of this event. So kind of just wanted to have a bit of a chat with it, really. So I think in a way it's really sad. I think they're just trying to do what they do to Trump in the sense that they want to just really damage his reputation, and they kind of want to use anything possible to damage him. So I don't think, it's acceptable to be randomly touching women's legs. And I'm not saying that, if some guy touched my leg that I didn't like, I would, not be responding well to him. So that does kind of beg the question to me, why didn't she challenge him at the time? Why didn't she say to me, get your hands off me, you creep? Because I certainly would be saying that. If someone came up to me and started squeezing my thigh, I'd be like, what on earth do you think you're doing? Literally keep your disgusting little mitts to yourself. So the fact that she didn't say that, and then arguably maybe she didn't feel confident, maybe she felt a bit uncomfortable, and that's fair, maybe she sort of felt because he was an MP she couldn't say anything. And if that's the case, why didn't she report it to her bosses? Is there kind of any evidence of that? It doesn't seem to be. So what we've effectively got here is one person's word against another. Now, it's difficult because we're in this problem in society where, people don't want to dare to question when a woman makes these allegations, because actually there are people that have sexual assaults happen to them. There are people that, have had actually really horrible things happen to them. And in those instances, the people that do things to women that do need locking up, these people that are attacking women, throw the book at them. That's what I say. But, it does seem now that actually anyone's kind of keen to now make accusations and allegations without any kind of evidence. And it just makes me worry, really, what world we live in, because a lot of people now are kind of finding Boris guilty, without kind of, it's innocent until proven guilty. It's not guilty until you prove your innocence. And that happens a lot. It happens a lot. I've been seeing lately, especially in the politics world, and the media world, really, where people make these allegations about people, and then, the person has to kind of defend himself. And it's very hard to prove that you didn't do something, an allegation like that. So that does concern me, really. That's kind of my main thoughts on it. So I don't know why she didn't make the report of it at the time. She said it was a private lunch, and she's still saying on Twitter that she remembers it. And the other thing was the date of it, because it happened in 1999. Now, that's 20 years ago now. Now, are we really saying that people are going to be held accountable for every single indiscretion they did 20 years ago? Because, if we start dragging up every single person's past and looking at everything they've ever done, there's going to be a lot of people that have got a lot of serious questions to answer. A lot of people do very silly things when they're younger, that they perhaps regret. So would you not argue that even if you had done it, times change, people move on, and actually, you can do something silly and then really regret it and apologise. So, that's really my views on it. I do think that, as on a personal level, I do think they are just trying to discredit him. I think people are getting really, really desperate. They want to do anything they can to discredit Boris. I've seen even comments online today from an Labour MP saying, he was just arriving with his girlfriend at conference like a prop. He doesn't really love her and all this. I'm thinking, how dare someone question someone else's relationship? And how do they know? Do they see what goes on behind closed doors? Do they see how their relationship is, and kind of, how do they judge their relationship? Do they have to, have some kind of test or some kind of exam to prove how much you love someone now? It's just absolutely crazy. And it just feels to me that all they want to do at the moment is just discredit him, just to make him look bad, and they'll dredge up any kind of thing that they can. And it just just seems really sad to me. So there's not really much more to say than that, other than a kind of, I suppose, the first day of the Tory Party conference. I haven't gone this year. I'm not overly keen when it's in Manchester. I'm not keen on Manchester as a city, just mostly because I've always found that the protests there are pretty grim and pretty mean. And, I kind of don't really want to spend my free time getting things thrown at me. So next year when it's at Birmingham, I think I'll go to that. And I find the Birmingham conference funnier as well because the chants are always better. It's always get out of Brum, Tory scum. And they don't really have a chant for Manchester. So, they kind of need to think of one for those. And then just a little bit, so like, to try and bring a bit of balance to this, the right-wingers do have a little bit of fake news themselves. So one thing I saw on Twitter today, and I did try and do a bit of a fact check myself, there was a picture of Boris being having balls thrown at him. So he was walking in, the video was him walking into the Tory Party conference, people were chucking balls at him and shouting and swearing and booing. And, people were saying how disgraceful it was that he was being personally attacked, which it is. So I sent it to my uncle because he's quite into politics and we chat about Boris all the time. And he was like, nah, this can't be right. They wouldn't be letting the Prime Minister just walk in. This is not correct. And he did a little bit of research and actually it's from 2015. So, kind of everyone does need to be a bit more careful. They do need to be checking for fake news, do need to be making sure that what you see on the internet isn't always straight away what you think, because often it can be incorrect. So that's all I've got to say for tonight. Sorry it's been a bit mumbly and stumbly because I haven't kind of made any pre-prepared notes or anything. I just kind of wanted to just do the blog kind of free and hopefully you've enjoyed what I've got to say. Leave some comments, like, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, do anything you can, and any kind of ideas, anything you want to hear about, anything you want us to talk about, let us know because we do like to hear the sound of our own voices. Good night. Hope you've had a nice weekend. Bye.